In this video, we are going to discover what precast concrete H columns are and also discover how they are going to be used to fence a plot. I went to a plot located in Athi River that used precast concrete H columns and panels to fence the 50 by 100 plot size. I went asking your questions that you've been asking me throughout the years, and in the first part of this video, I went to Kingdom Precast Panels where Sammy Wambua will take us through what precast concrete H columns are. In part 2 of the video, we're going to go to that site in Athi River where Engineer Ian, who was in charge of the project, will explain to us what it's all about. Watch this video if you're very keen on fencing your plot using precast concrete panels and H columns, and more so if your plot is located in a black cotton type of soil, because the plot that I went to in Athi River had that kind of soil. I'm Muema from Property Noma, and let's get started by discovering what precast concrete H columns are.
Hello guys, my name is Sammy Wambua of Kingdom Precast. Last time I explained to you about precast panels. Now I want to introduce you to precast H columns. Precast H columns are purely for fencing. Fencing in this sense, you don't need to do the normal columns. You only need to have a H column. A H column has this groove and another groove here. This H column has a span of 220 by 200. The H column is reinforced with the R6, 4 of them in each column. So this height is customized. It can span up to 3.5 meter, but standard is 3.1 meter. Now this groove here you see is where your panel comes and enters. So you use precast panels and the precast H columns to do fencing. In this sense, this column here and this is a sample of a precast panel inside 2 H columns. So this span here, to minimize on the number of columns you need, especially when you're fencing, you span this column and this other column. You can have a span of 3 meters. So this panel here will be 3 meters. Then you stack like 4. This gives you a standard height of the fence or other of a fence of 2.4 meter. So this panel has a groove here. So the other tags up here. So there will be like 4 up here. And this column now will be to the height that maybe you wanted your fence to be. This H column has an advantage of it has this hollow section here. This hollow section here is where now you can pass your conduits. Maybe you want to do electric lights, you want to do lighting or the doorbell. Yeah, exactly. You want to do the doorbell. This hollow section here helps for that. That provision is purposely for that. Or maybe sometimes you want to do the razor wire. You can use maybe you have a steel where the razor wire anchors on. Then you can have it down here, then some mortar, some cement, then it will stretch all the way. So you can see now this is a full H column. This H column mzito kidogo. Now the groove goes all the way to this other end here, to here. So this is now where your panels will be, along here. And this other side here has a groove. It's an H groove. So your panels that goes to this extent come from this end, and this other end here, the panels come from this other end. So this will be your straight whole H column. So the advantage of having this H column compared to the other concrete column is, one, it comes ready. So when it comes ready, we precast it, cure it, it comes ready to your site. So it's just a matter of fixing the H column, and this means it takes you less a period of time compared to the traditional method. This also, it's a bit affordable because it does need no concrete or any support on site. You only have to anchor it a bit to the foundation, then you're done. So it also comes with an advantage of, assume you're doing a site and you're doing like, you need some 10, 20, 30 columns. You only have them in one truck and they are delivered. Unlike the traditional method where you have to bring cement, you have to bring mortar, you have to bring steel bars, all that. This is direct to the point. A single concrete H column with 3.1 meters high, and this is by 220 millimeters by 200 millimeters, averagely goes for 3,300. So it's a bit affordable compared to a traditional column. When transporting the H columns, they are put in one truck. A single H column has a weight of 220 kgs. So we see how your order is and which truck best suits that. But the beauty is the panels that a truck can carry will really do a lot of work on site. It will really push your projects way far.
Hi, I'm Ian Kipto, a civil engineer, and today I want to showcase a precast wall I've done on a 50 by 100 size plot using the precast panels, and the columns are the precast H-beams. Then for the foundation, we use the normal foundation stones.
All right, Ian. So we are now outside the fence, and looking at the panels, I'm seeing it's quite high. So what would you say is the height of this wall, excluding the height of the foundation?
Okay, the height of the wall is 2.4 meters high, but the columns are 2.5 meters high. Yeah.
And what is the height of each panel?
The width, the panels are laid horizontally, and the width of a panel is 600 millimeters or 0.6
That's like
meters.
2 feet.
Yeah. So stacked 4 of them, they make up 2.4 meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to increase the height of your wall, you do it at the foundation.
Yeah, we have 2 options. You can either increase the height of the wall from the foundation, like here we have increased by about a meter. So it makes up the total length now to be 3 meters. But we also have the option we can increase at the H-beams and then now put 5. We stack now 5 of them, or we can increase also the stones. So either option is fine to achieve 3 meters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but with this you can achieve, remember there's a client who also asked me about a 5 meter wall. So you see with this option you can do stone for up to I think 2.5 meters. Then now you do the precast.
Okay, so let's talk more about the foundation.
Yes.
What kind of stones were used, and how deep did you have to go to ensure that you achieve this height of the fence?
Okay. Generally in this area, it's a black cotton soil. So the depth of the foundation is actually influenced by the type of soil and how far deep you go until you find a firm ground. So in this case, we went down around 3 feet. So here we used 5 courses of stone to achieve a meter above the ground.
Why is it protruding a bit outside on the H columns?
Okay, the columns themselves are supported by the base, which is why they are protruding, because we had to increase the size of the base because this area, black cotton soil in construction, you also have to make sure that the wall is sufficiently stable to hold the panels and to hold the weight of its own self-weight. Yeah.
So was it challenging to do the fence for this project because of the soil?
Yeah, it's usually challenging to do in black cotton areas, because definitely a client can get a cost for the panels and the H-beams, and it's usually a lower cost. But then now once you add the cost of doing the foundation, it usually varies. There are some areas where the cost is very low, and there's some areas which the cost is very high, just depending on the structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many H columns are needed on the 50 side of this 50 by 100 plot?
Okay, generally, I think you
Since
need,
now we are facing the shorter span, how many H columns were needed?
it depends on the size of the gate you're leaving.
Okay.
But generally, a 50 by 100, if you leave a typical 3-meter gate, you need 29 pieces of H beams, and then you put one at every corner to actually hold the panels facing this way. You need one, and then the panels facing the other way, you need one. So at the corners, we put 2 H beams.
So, Bwana Engineer, you mentioned that you use 2 H columns at the corners. So, how do you do that?
Okay. Just even from its name, it's called a H column, meaning it has a notch. I think I can come and show you. So it has a notch in the middle where the panel goes in and then it's held together. So you see this side of the H column does not have a notch. So, and you see if you have a wall going also this other direction, you need also to have a notch where the panel will be able to be inserted. So that is why we put 2 of them together. Yeah.
Does it add more strength to the corner of the plot?
Yeah, it adds more strength. And then definitely you see from the edges, if maybe someone is driving, this is where it's most risky. Maybe someone can hit the wall. So you see if the wall has even double reinforcement, it's much better.
And I can also see the base is a bit thicker than the others.
Yes. Definitely it's thicker, as I said, because you know with the black cotton, the expansion and the contraction, okay, if you don't do it correctly, you can have it failing, the fence. It starts lying. So to prevent all that and to enhance the stability, we also use a big base. Yeah. But this is only for this case. In other areas, the base is only hidden in the ground, not coming up.
How many precast panels were used to fence this 50 by 100 plot? And also, how many pieces of H columns did the client have to buy so that it fits his plot?
Okay, typically a 50 by 100 uses 33 columns, but we add 1 extra, so we usually use 34. And the panels, it uses 116 pieces, but we usually add 2 extra because of maybe the size. It may not be accurately 50 by 100 if in case it's slightly bigger, or in case the spans warrant us to cut, like we have 2 extra pieces for that. Typically, how to calculate the number of pieces of the H beams and the panels is typically we use a 3-meter span. So we use the 3-meter length panels. So we space the columns depending on the length and the width and the perimeter around your plot. Now less the gate. But for the gate, we also do the stone foundation through. Only where we don't put the panels is at the gate. So where the section does not reach 3 meters, we actually cut, and then now we add a H-beam. Even if the measurement is not 3 meters, they are just custom made to fit your entire area.
So it would be a good idea to just use the longest span of the panel to reduce the number of panels that I'll eventually use.
Yes. Because definitely if you use like say 2-meter panels, you would add the cost of the H columns. But you see, using 3 meters, you've spaced it enough. And then also it depends also on the size of land, because we have like a maximum of 15 columns you can do on an entire length. Then now you have to put it double. So you see, you also put the double not only at the corners, but also to serve as expansion joints for where you have long walls.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if I'm a client and I want to fence an acre plot,
Yeah.
does that apply? Or what spans are we talking about where you will now come and use double H columns?
I think spans of more than 15 to 25 meters, depending on the soil. Yeah, because if it's black cotton, 15 meters, then now we can put double or up to a maximum of 30 meters.
This being a 50 by 100 plot, how long did it take to achieve where we are now today,
This took 3 weeks to do it. Yeah,
including the foundation?
yeah, including the foundation, setting the columns and the panels.
So which process takes the most time?
The foundation, yeah, because in a week and a half, we're able to finish the precast.
Well, if you ask me, I really like how this fence looks like. It looks clean, neat, and presentable. So in case, as a client, because I get asked, because people ask me a lot of questions,
Yeah,
can I leave my fence to look like this as a finish in case I don't have enough money? And also in that regard, what are the options that I can choose from for my finishing for the panels?
okay, you can choose to either leave it like this, or you can choose to apply wall master directly on it, or even if you want to attach like the electric fence on top of it, you can actually do it, or the razor wire. So it can just be customized. Or even if you want to have like some decorative features at the bottom, at the sides, at the top, they can also be done just on top of the precast. So any kind of finishes you want.
In case I want to do like stone cladding,
Yeah.
that additional weight, will the foundation be able to support?
Stone cladding on the panel. Yes, okay, you can do your stone cladding on the panel, even the brick cladding. They just stuck on the surface of the panel. So depending on the design you want, it can actually be customized, not only for the fence, also for the house. So the precast is really versatile towards the finish you want.
Let's talk about finances, because this is something I get asked a lot and a lot. I want to know the budget of the client. How much did it cost to just reach here for this fence?
Okay, for this particular case, I was doing the fence together with the foundation and the finishes. Also, I was doing the gate. So roughly $1 million to do this.
And that is inclusive of the foundation work.
Yeah, that's inclusive of the foundation, gate, labor, everything. The client is not around in the country, so he just wanted to do the entire thing. So he just entrusted me with it, and then now that is how much I've used so far. Yeah.
And how much for the panels alone?
For the panels alone is 384,000. That is for 50 by 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for half an acre, use panels alone around 770,000. Then for an acre, 1.1 M. So I think the more you scale your project, the cheaper it is, because you see you can get the economies of scale, even in terms of getting the materials, and also another thing which also is unique to precast is the shorter duration of doing it, which actually makes the labor costs actually lower than the ordinary construction.
And how much for the H columns?
Okay, the H columns per piece, they come at 3,300. That is for one piece. And then the panel for 3 meter comes at 2,300.
So Engineer Ian, how much, according to your experience, does it cost per meter for a precast panel fence?
Okay, per meter is around 8 to 10,000. Now, depending on now, I think every structure, be it a fence, be it a house, they're all different. So assessment has to be done, and then now costings are done based on that assessment. So, but roughly between 8 to 10,000 per meter. Yeah.
Another question I have, because the soil is black cotton soil,
Yeah.
does that mean it will cost me more if my plot is in a black cotton soil than in any other type of soil?
Yes, it will cost you more, because definitely your foundation would have to be set deeper than the ordinary ground.
You can say if my plot is black cotton soil, I'm unlucky. I'll just have to commit those extra funds to have my foundation done right and to have my wall stable enough.
Yeah, but I think it's cheaper in the long run because you can opt for a cheaper option to be done haphazardly, and later on you find your wall cracking, you find your wall collapsing. So it's usually definitely good to engage professionals so that you actually don't lose your hard-earned money. Yes.
Let's say I'm that client who has done so much research, and the one thing that I want to know is a comparison between a finished stone wall versus a finished precast wall. Is there a margin of financial savings for me as the client?
Yes, yes. You see, for precast, we're talking about 8 to 10,000 per meter, but for a finished stone wall, you would need around 13 to 15,000 per meter. So those costs actually add up.
And also, doing the precast panel is faster than the stone wall.
Yeah, definitely it's faster. And then you see even the variations. For precast, you have like a 5% variation in cost, which it may go up or down very slightly. And like for stone wall, it really has so many factors. The cost of cement can go up, the cost of steel, the cost of labor. But you see with precast, you just transport it like this. This was done, I think, 2 trips. They were just brought in. And so that is all that was needed to do the precast. And like now for the normal wall, you'd have to bring the stones, you bring the sand, you bring the ballast, you bring the steel. So you do all that to, then now you have to do the quality control to ensure that your wall is plumb, is actually upright. So, but you see for the panels, you just set them, and then now once they are plumbed, it's okay. It's finished. It's already plastered, so it really saves on cost.
Looking around, I'm pretty amazed at how neat this plot is, because there's not much waste lying around, either for the H columns or for the for the precast panels. Has that been your experience with precast panels in your other projects?
Yes, it surely gives value for money, because even the tiny pieces, if let's say we're building a house, you can use it to make the cabinets, or even you can use it to at the sections where you need windows. So it's actually reusable, and maybe if they have broken, you can use them as the hardcore. So it really has very little waste.
So guys, I hope you've appreciated what precast concrete H columns are, and I hope you've enjoyed the interview style discussion we had with Engineer Ian at his project. I went asking all the questions that you've been asking me throughout the years about fencing using precast concrete panels, and I hope the answers came through in the video. In case you want to get in touch with Sammy Wambua of Kingdom Precast Panels and Engineer Ian, I've left their contact details down below in the description section of YouTube. Also, if you'd like to talk to me, engage the discussion with me, you'll also find my contacts in the description below. So that's it for this video. Before you go, if you'd like to understand all about plot sizes, 50 by 100, an eighth of an acre, all those terminologies, then I suggest watching the following video.